Alright, this is Dan House here, very nice, very evil. You are watching True Heel Heat. Probably should have had MJF do this, but here we are.
Welcome to True Heel Heat, the place where we use insider terms because we think we know what the fuck we're talking about, even though we don't. My name's Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and I'm better than you, and you know it.
Hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3, and we are back again for another iteration of our Scream series leading up to Scream 7. And we are here to discuss one of the most polarizing iterations of this franchise, 2000. So we went from 1996 to 1997 to 2000, and now we are at Scream 3, which ironically enough is my co-host and me first Scream that we watched in the series, and we're here to discuss it. I am joined as always by the one and only StatKing, John Martin. John, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. It's a wonderful whatever. It's a wonderful day and a great time to be able to talk a little bit about Scream. We are less than a week away now from when we're recording to the movie coming out, Scream 7, and I've been seeing that the pre-sale tickets are really lighting up, like a lot higher than they anticipated. So there is a demand for old Ghostface. We'll see how this movie turns out.
Yeah, and I think we did talk about in one of the last reviews that there's been a lot of controversy heading into this screen, of course, with the actresses pulling out. There's been rewrites for this one, and I've just realized, like, through my note taking for the last Scream that we reviewed, Scream 2, and then this one, rewrites is just a part of the Scream tradition, it seems.
Yeah. It really, especially if there's a movie out of any of the six that have came previously that is demonstrable that rewrites are a thing and affect everything, it's this one. Absolutely, it's this one.
Absolutely, we're gonna get into it and discuss it, but of course, we appreciate y'all for joining us. If you're watching us for the premiere, we appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back. The simplest way possible is by dropping a thumbs up on the video. That helps out the YouTube algorithm. You can also share this video with all your Scream fans, family, and friends on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Heel Heat Sports and Entertainment YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. We're going to be reviewing each and every iteration of Scream here on the channel in lead up to Scream 7. And yes, we will be reviewing Scream 7 as well. But let's get into things without further ado. Scream 3 comes 3 years after Scream 2. Of course, it was a big success, Scream 1, which led to immediate production and writing for Scream 2, which Kevin Williamson already was in preparation for. Going into this film, you would think that it was going to be the combination of Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson again, but Kevin Williamson was knee deep in Dawson's Creek lore and fame, and he did not write this film here. So that was the first thing that came up in regards to this film that was just going to be like, this is not going to be the same. The other thing is the Columbine shooting.
Yeah.
If you're a younger person, you probably don't know about it, but this was a huge thing. The high school shooting in Columbine, Colorado. It really completely scrapped what was the original plans for this Scream.
Yeah, I mean, if you can think about, obviously, the parallels are small, but the similarities are small, but the idea of what it was had such an impact on a lot of, I mean, you and I we grew up during that era, and had a lot of impact on parents feeling how safe their kids were, both in schools and things like that. And, modern day, unfortunately, we have a larger and larger rash of school shootings and things like that, and it feels as though it's a little bit more commonplace. Columbine was one of the largest and real, like, kind of first time that it happened at such a scale of now what we now consider almost an everyday occurrence, that it really did shake a lot of people to their core, and it did affect a lot of movies and media and things like that. And it created this question of, really reinforcing the potential question of, like, is violence in movies, does that affect how kids develop or how people act? And that was interestingly one of the themes of Scream 2 was this idea of, like, do people get more violent because of what they see, and then they feel a need to create a sequel or something like that. So there was this original idea of having 2 Ghostfaces, very similar as always, and they said there were 2 shooters in Columbine, so we're not going to do that.
Yeah, so this caused a lot of changes, and we'll talk about who was the original supposed to be the extra killer with the killer that we find out here. But let's go into this movie. Of course, we got to start off with the openings, which is basically one of the most important parts of any Scream film, and I like this one. I think it's unique from any of the other ones that we will see in the future films or even the upcoming film, where we basically are following up with one of the main survivors of the last film. The main survivors of the last film were Cotton, Sidney, Gale, Dewey. So Cotton is basically famous now. He has this talk show called 100% Cotton, and he's using, of course, yes. He's using his situation being wrongfully accused by Sidney to call other people out for their mishaps, and apparently he's helping out with the newest Stab film, and he gets a call from a woman, and she starts hitting on him that she's 110% Cotton, into Cotton, and just like, what was your girlfriend thinking? He was like, oh, how do you know I have a girlfriend? Because I'm standing in her room right now. And we get like one of the cool traits of this Ghostface that makes it different. The Ghostface are known for the voice changers and stuff like that, but this one is a completely different voice changer because it can change into the voice of even Cotton, even Cotton himself. A woman, he gets called by a woman is because of the voice changer. And then we see with the Ghostface that goes and attacks his girlfriend at his house, the Ghostface is using Cotton's voice to be like, oh, I'm just playing a game, I'm gonna slit your throat, and like all this stuff. And the girlfriend hits Cotton with a golf club. She gets stabbed in the back, and then Cotton is our first major kill of this movie here. What did you think about this opening in comparison to Scream 2 and Scream 1?
I really liked it because in previous iterations of the movies, they were characters that we later found out were somewhat relevant to the plot, in the sense that, like, Casey Brecker isn't relevant to the plot except for the fact that she was Stu Macher's ex-girlfriend. And Maureen and Omar Epps' character, they aren't part of the plot, but for the fact that they are college students at the college. So it's like we find out later in this situation, we already know who Cotton is. And we've had that kind of setup from Scream 1, Scream 2. So now having him be the victim, I thought was really cool in that sense. Additionally, what I liked about it was it shows a higher level of planning from the Ghostface, which is ironic because of sort of how terrible the plan is at the end of the movie. Like, kind of goes off the rails, but in the beginning, at least, very smart plan. The idea of you are trying to sort of get both of them, right? Because the idea there is, if you're going to kill one, you have to kill the other in order to make sure you can escape. Smart, right? Like, we were talking about that, like, make sure everybody's dead, then you try to rig it in your favor. So whoever Ghostface is knows they got to kill both. If you get one of them to mistrust the other, you're automatically cutting in half the ability of the two to work as a team. And I thought that was a really smart usage of the voice changer by Ghostface. And similarly, in this idea of being a meta commentary, you always have to kind of change things and evolve it a little bit. So, like, the idea of using the voice changer in a different way, smart.
Yeah, I thought this was a good opening to the show, and it also sets up one of the goals of the Ghostface, which is the Ghostface asks Cotton over the phone, where's Sidney at? That's what he really wants from all of this, and that would become, a little bit of a tip off of what would happen later. We see that Sidney is very secluded with a lot of security and even a dog at this like secluded location. She's working at a center where she helps women in distress. We then catch up with Gale. Gale's bangs look horrific in this movie. Her haircut is awful in this whole movie. Just wanted to mention that. She does a speech helping young journalist majors at a school before Detective Kincaid, which is one of their new characters here, comes to meet her and tells her about Cotton's murder. This leads to Gale working with the investigation. Gale goes to the Stab 3 set, which seems to be like the targets because Cotton was working with Stab 3, so he's the first one to get murdered and so on and so forth. This is where she meets the actress that plays her in the film, which I thought was probably one of the better people, especially out of the Stab 3 cast. She's the only one that stands out pretty much.
Yeah, she kind of got the most to do. She definitely got the most to do because of the relationship between her and Gale.
Yeah, and then we also see Dewey is working on the set as an informant and a bodyguard for the actress playing Gale. They have the best like chemistry I think out of everybody in this movie.
I just want to say like up to this point, no character like the Dewey and Gale interactions to me are the best parts of these movies. And then,
but especially in this movie, like I said it on the screen through, but this is the highlight of the whole film. It's their chemistry.
Like if we got to like really get an in-depth interview with one Dominic Mysterio, and he told us that he was channeling when he is talking to Rhea about why he picked Liv over Rhea, and he told us that he was channeling Dewey in Scream 3, I would believe it. Because in essence, it's like she lets me do what I want. She likes me. She gets me chicken tendies. She lets me play video games all the time. And that's Dewey. Dewey's like, she doesn't call me stupid. She appreciates what I have to say.
Live in a small town. Like they go out for lunch and they have this very tensious sit down where they catch us up in dialogue on what the relationship was with Gale saying that Woodsboro's too small of a town, and then she went to vacation, and then she went to New York for a little bit, and now she's living in Los Angeles, and how their whole relationship didn't work out following Scream 2. We do get a great Jay and Silent Bob cameo calling Gale Connie Chung, which I was like, this is so 90s related. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's just like randomly. It's because like back then people just do those sorts of things, like the walk-on cameos and things like that. Especially because like this is supposed to be in theory a horror movie, but it is more of just like a meta commentary on horror movies. It's supposed to have those comedic elements. So it's a great way to do it without having to write in like forced humor from the characters. Because one thing I hate is like when you see this a lot so much in Marvel, where like they'll have a serious scene and then somebody will just crack a joke right at the end to be like, remember guys, we're all supposed to be laughing, and they'll cut to the next scene. And I hate that because I'm like, forced humor is just it's terrible. If it's organic, cool. And this is a great way to have forced humor, but it's not at the expense of your characters. And it's hilarious.
Yeah, that was a nice bit. But this gives like the overall criticism that I have for this movie. And this is something that I think I said when we first started talking about these films, is that this is the first film that I saw. So it literally, at this time, I was already a Scary Movie fan. I had already I saw Scary Movie before I saw any of the Scream films.
Gotcha.
So seeing this one as the first Scream film, I'm like, oh, so it's just a comedy. It's not even a horror film. Like, because the next scene we go to is Candy's death in the office, in Rowan's office, which is, it's totally played for laughs. It's way more for laughs than anything tensions or anything. The whole conversation about the script changing. They even do a meta comment about all the rewrites because Scream 3 had so many rewrites in real life. This was more like comedic tone. Mostly it's due to what we talked about earlier with the Columbine shootings. Apparently, the studio executives wanted Wes Craven to not even have blood in the film. He wanted him to do a horror film with no blood. And I was like, and I just wrote in my notes, I was like, damn, no wonder this is a downgrade.
Like, what you got to imagine Wes Craven's like, but I mean, I did all these other really good ones. You just can't trust me. And they're like, no. Did you see what happened on the news? And he's like, yes, I did, and terrible. But like at the same time, we're going to have an R rating because of the blood. Like, I mean, come on. They're just like, no. This isn't going to fly.
So there was blood in it, but it was really kept to a minimum. Another thing that's a minimum is Sidney's screen time. Out of all the Scream films she's been a part of, this is the one where she has the least amount of screen time. Yeah. And it's very noticeable as well because they keep her like secluded and everything. I think even Scream 5, she has more screen time. She has more. Well, I will say like it's probably neck and neck. Probably Scream 5. She probably has less. On second thought, she probably does have less because she's really only featured in the second half.
Yeah, she's got the scene where she's on the phone and she's like, "I'm Sidney Prescott. Of course I have a gun." And then she's in the back half. But yeah, I mean, to your point, where they really do go out of their way to kind of remove her, and it's very interesting, right? Because like, if we're considering her the main character, which she is, to not have the main character be involved in this movie for such a long period of time, one thing that it does do is it allows us to spend more time with Gale and Dewey, which is great. Yeah. But what it also does is it allows the idea for in the back of our minds to go, well, Sidney has to show up eventually. Yeah. And as soon as she shows up, bodies are going to hit the floor.
Yeah, so that's when the movie definitely picks up a ton. I think I wrote that in my notes as well. It was noted the reason why there's so much lack of Sidney, especially in the first half of this movie, is Nev Campbell didn't want to get typecast into horror films and didn't want to be just known for the Sidney Prescott character. So she actually turned down the third film at first before eventually changing her mind, but she only did 20 days of shooting. Which is why they had to add all the stuff of her being like secluded and away and stuff like that, which does lead to, I think, one of the worst scenes I've seen in a Scream movie. And I'm putting it up there with the singing scene from Scream 2. It's the ghost flashbacks. When she has the ghost flashback at the house and the bad acting of the ghost, I'm just like,
because it's I think the other part of it also is like this. We don't really get too much of Sidney having these qualms about who or what her mother was in the first two movies. Like she's upset and she's very traumatized by the fact that her mom was killed. But I think that's more about the fact that her mom was killed versus the idea that like her mom had all these mysteries and secrets and things that she never got to find out. And who really was her mom? No, it's the fact that her mom was murdered, like that aspect of it. And so to suddenly switch towards it, like you would think she would have more fears or potential trauma around the fact that her dad got kidnapped in front of her and was being stabbed in front of her and things like that. Like you'd think like that would be a little bit more, but apparently it's the ghost of a mom she apparently never really knew.
Exactly. We did see the dad. I think I said in the first Scream review that we never saw him again, but he was in this movie. Rewatching the movie, I was like, oh, there you go. There he is again. Good to see you. You're still alive. All the murders, we see Ghostface leaving behind pictures of Sidney's mom, Maureen, which gives clues of who the killer is. After getting a phone call from Ghostface at our home using the voice changer to have her mom's voice, Sidney turns on the news and sees all the killings in Hollywood. Sidney decides to join up with Dewey and Gale and Detective Kincaid in trying to find out who's the killer. We immediately see Kincaid has a little bit of a crush on Sidney. They give the googly eyes to one another and stuff. We notice Sidney also when she meets up with Dewey, that first scene, she's wearing the necklace that Derek gave her in Scream 2.
Yeah, the OK Beta one. OK Beta. Yeah, that I
Yeah,
thought was really cool. I want to say though, I really liked the scene of when Ghostface calls her, simply
yeah,
because like we've talked previously in 1 and 2 about how changes and updates in technology make movies like this harder to pull off. And this was a great example about how you can still make the technology there, but you can still work it into your plot in a different way. Because she's so emotionally distraught from her mom, whatever these secrets are that she didn't know, and so on and so forth. She's learning about these murders, and because she now is, like we said when we were doing the review for Scream 2, like lightning strikes twice now, so now she's being more protective, and it's just a long day for her. She doesn't realize that she's getting the call on her home line, and she's
yeah.
answering as if she's on her work line. And so like that's a way to be able to work within growing technology to still accomplish the goal. And her fear, like the look on her face when she realizes Ghostface is calling on the home line and not the work line, she was like, oh shit. Like, oh shit.
Now, but yeah, this scene, this was like one of the scenes that they always try to hint at different characters being
Mhm.
Ghostface. And right before this scene, we see Detective Kincaid and his partner. They take Roman, the director of Stab 3, in for questioning, and then Kincaid axes Dewey for his cell phone. And then we cut to Sidney. So it was at that point. I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, "Is the detective? Is the detective the killer?"
Patrick
Because like
Dempsey, no.
I was like, oh no, we're in trouble now. One Sydney, and I put up my notes here, like you said. One Sydney reunites with Gale and Dewey. The movie really picks up.
Hmm.
They go to the Stab 3 set, and that's where they meet up with Martha Minx, which very convenient how she was able to just run into the trio here. But anyway, Martha has a tape from Randy that he taped at the second film. Apparently, Wes Craven really wanted Jamie Kennedy to be part of this film. They even thought of in like the original script to have him actually survive the murder from Scream 2, and that he's been in like witness protection the whole time. But this seemed like the best way to do it. So in the video, Randy gives us the rules for a trilogy, where he says, one, the killer is going to be superhuman, which means you have to cryogenically destroy him or shoot him in the head multiple times. You have to do like something OD to get rid of him. Two, anyone, including the main character, can die, which gives me one of my favorite lines of the movie. This means you, Sid. I'm sorry. It just is. Uh, Three, the past will come back to bite you in the ass. Everything that you knew about the past, throw it away. The past will come back, and it's gonna be even worse for you. And he says if you're watching this, it means that he didn't survive the murders at Windsor College. And he says for some of you, good luck, and for others of you, see you soon. This is one of my favorite scenes of the whole movie because it actually gives us it felt like a proper way for Randy to say goodbye to the OG trio.
Yeah, it is kind of funny where it's like, you know, for the sister and and Randy's family, they're like, okay, we have this tape, which we never need to show anybody unless a ghost face starts popping up again.
Yep.
Which I was like, it seems very contrived. However, for the purposes of what they're doing, I'll allow it. I'll be like, all right, all right. This guy happened to be like, lightning struck a second time. But what if it strikes a third? Let's be prepared. Just like, all right.
But it also tells us that Martha kept this tape, and that's probably what influenced Mindy
Yeah.
in the latter
Mhm.
half of the films of why she becomes our new Randy.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, like that's. I mean, we're getting. I'm getting ahead of myself, but like it's Scream 5 where they've got the giant portrait. I love it. I was like, this is amazing.
At this point, Gale and Movie Gale, they team up to investigate, and they find out that Sid's mom was an actress by the name of Rena Reynolds that was trying to get a part in early horror films made by the producer who was actually making Stab 3. They also see at the same time Sidney, she is forced to relive some of her Ghostface past. She's in the bathroom and she has a bathroom stall scene with the actress who is playing Sidney. And this is another person who is teased to be the killer. And actually, in the original script, she was supposed to be the second killer. All of these scenes make much more sense if she was the killer. Like, even the way that she eventually dies, it doesn't feel real. Like, no one sees it actually. Like that, even that, I think that it would have been fine if they revealed that she was working with Roman.
They did write in a scene, or well, so I don't know if it's necessarily written. Well, I guess it has to be because they changed the plot. But they did write in a moment for her that they do kind of drop breadcrumbs in about like actresses sleeping with that dude, with the producer in order to get the role.
Yeah.
And then she goes like, "I did not," and she maintains like throughout the course of the movie like innocence and all that kind of stuff. Then she's like, "Eventually, she's like, I did not sleep with this motherfucker. To goddamn die in a mansion." And like so, like
C-listers.
Now, like you could argue. It helps link everything together as to why she's innocent, or you could argue that Roman was like, it'll help us, cast you and get everything set up for this thing. So it could go either way. But I do like the actress Emily Mortimer, because if anybody's watched The Newsroom, which is a phenomenal show on HBO with Jeff Daniels. Aaron Sorkin did it. The same guy who did the West Wing, and I think he wrote a couple episodes for ER. But it's based off like a
Social Network.
Yeah, and Social Network. She's like a main character there, and she absolutely kills it. But she's a great actress. But she doesn't get to do that much in this. To your point, like we don't really see that much of her, as she's just like, I wanted to keep these mementos. It's like, oh, so the mask. You wanted to keep the mask while there are
and
people
a fake
dying.
cell phone
While there are people dying. It's like, all right, well.
Very weird of you. We also then see she goes into like the set and Sidney loses her, and Sidney basically has to relive like that is the house that Ghostface first came to her bedroom. They even have a reenactment, a room that's the crime scene of her mom's murder that we never got to see from the first film, and that makes Sidney break down. We get Ghostface underneath the bloody police blanket, and he goes to attack her. He chases her all around the set. Sidney's able to get the better of him, and eventually she breaks down after she's found by Dewey and Detective Kincaid. We also see Gale, movie Gale, and Dewey. They learn from the producer, and he explains that Maureen had to do sexual favors for roles back in the day, and that's how he met her. That's how he's been with her, which is very ironic because Harvey Weinstein is one of the producers for this film.
Listen, is it life imitating art? Or is it art inspiring life? We'll never really know.
We'll never know. We shall never know. The whole Weinstein scandal is actually why Scream was sold to Spyglass for Scream 5 and 6. So
that makes sense.
I also put that in my notes. Movie Gale does a party at her house where the bodyguard, which is played by Joe from Family Guy, love that. We should have had Ghostface who had Joe's voice on it. That would have been awesome. He is murdered in Dewey's trailer. Then Ghostface plays a game with the rest of the Stab 3 cast, Gale and Dewey, where he leads the actor playing Dewey, who's left in the house after everybody else gets the hell up out the house, and he gets murdered because he's too anxious to find out the end of this whole thing. And he says, the person who gets murdered next is the person who smells the gas, and he's holding a lighter to see what the last line says, and he gets blown up in movie Gale's house. The rest of the characters fall down the hill that the house was on. Gale and Dewey, they reconcile after Dewey shoots Ghostface when Gale is in danger. This leads to movie Gale getting upset with him for not helping her after she gave him a job and gave him a place to stay, causing her to slap him, and Gale punches her, and she was like, "You'll hear from my lawyer." while the actress playing Sidney gets teased once again as the killer because she's all the way over here. We never saw her jump off the hill, and it's like suspicious. Like, are we safe? And Dewey's like, safe from who?
I think honestly, one of the funniest parts of this is like while they were doing the rewrites and reshoot, and some of it being reshot, they never were like, let's go back and clean up some of the scenes that sort of point to her. So we legitimately just have Dewey go, "Where were you this whole time?" and she just goes, "Oh my God, people are dead."
Oh my God, answered the question. Oh my God. Act 3 happens. We see Sidney is at the police station and she gets a call from before that we have Roman, the director of the movie. After he gets out of like questioning, he's at his mansion and he has a rap party for the cast. This is where a lot of the cast from Stat 3 they get murdered. We get Ghostface attacks them and he kills Black Randy, which is another one that's a total kill for laughs. Like he's like, "Oh yo, my God, motherfucker!" And I can only imagine if you're in the theater, you're laughing at this whole scene. He runs, he gets tripped up with the freaking carpet. He gets stabbed, and then he gets thrown off the balcony and to his murder. We get movie Sidney with that scene where she tells movie Gale that she's like, "I'm not gonna die with you C-listers," and she's running just like, "You guys should run too," and then she gets stabbed and murdered, and they see her body being pulled away. We then get Gale and Dewey. We get movie Gale who goes into like basically a hideaway room in the mansion. First we get movie Gale and Gale find Roman who's murdered in the basement, and Gale checks his pulse and he says that he's dead, and it's just like,
I remember when I was rewatching for our reviews, I said to myself, wait a minute. This one, he has no pulse. Like either Gale doesn't know how to check a pulse, which that would seem weird, or he took something that would slow down his heart rate, which never gets an explanation. Nope. Or I honestly don't know. Because I think the entire time, like you can argue they had to rewrite and reshoot so that Emily Mortimer, that movie Sidney is not Ghostface, but they knew the entire time that Roman was. So they just said fuck it.
Just said fuck it. We'll just leave that in.
They were like, listen, guys. They were like, we paid a lot of money for Jay and Silent Bob. We did not pay enough money to reshoot this random ass scene. People will just figure it out.
She's like, it's not a point. We'll move on. Don't worry. So yeah, movie Gale as this Ghostface kills Black Randy. She finds like the cutaway into the room and she gets stabbed. She has like one of the most noticeable deaths where she gets stabbed behind these two-way mirrors, and Dewey has to shoot the mirrors to reveal her body. Gale then gets chased into the basement with Ghostface. They fall down the stairs. Ghostface knocked out at the end of the stairs, and Gale has to call Dewey to try to come and save her. He tries to come in and save her, but as it's Ghostface about to go after Gale, Dewey comes in. He shoots his gun, but he ran out of bullets, I guess, shooting the mirror, and stupid shit. This is one of the stupidest scenes also. Ghostface tosses the knife at his fucking head, and the end of the knife hits him in the head, and it's just like,
honestly, the first time I saw this movie, and he throws the knife, I don't remember how old I was, but in my mind, I was like, there's no way he threw this knife hard enough to kill this man. I'm like, if this movie is about to tell me that he's gonna get stabbed through the head by a knife thrown by what looks like 20 feet away, I'm turning this off. Wait. So I'm turning this off. Then it's the back end of the knife that hits him. And I'm like, that's hilarious. I'm like, that's so hilarious. I'm gonna keep watching.
This is some movie. This is a comedy. This is the only comedy. This is a legit comedy. This is not a horror film. This is scary. This is Scary Movie 1.5. Like, this is what this is.
I'm like, how does he?
Ghostface uses Gale and Dewey to goat Sidney. He calls her while she's at the police station, and basically tells her to come to the mansion and come unarmed and don't come with any other police. Sidney smartly brings some guns, and she also has other reinforcements. We'll talk about that in a bit. So Ghostface, when she gets there, he has like detector, and he sees the thing goes off when it goes to her ankles, so she has to drop the gun at the door. She sees Dewey and Gale are tied up. Ghostface attacks her, and she actually had an extra gun, and she shoots him. So that was that was a good call. Good
I mean,
call by
smart
her.
on her perspective,
Yeah.
to put both guns on the same foot, so that the metal detector goes off. He goes to remove the gun. She pulls it, and he's not, going to say do it again. He's assuming it caught the thing. So smart on her.
Yeah, very smart by Sidney. Not the first time, not the last time, we'll say that. Then we got she shoots him, and she goes, and he's like, oh, he disappeared, as always with Ghostface. Then Kincaid comes in, and you're like, oh, Kincaid's got to be the Ghostface at this point. But he gets attacked by Ghostface as well. Eventually, it leads to Sidney. She goes like into like this deeper part, or another room, into the mansion, getting chased by Ghostface, and Ghostface traps her in the room with him. And it's finally revealed that the Ghostface is Roman, the director. He explains that he is the long lost brother of Sidney, who tried to reunite with their mom, but she rejected him. Roman explains that he was behind their mom's murder by mentoring and guiding Billy since before the first Scream. This reveal is a fucking letdown, because every other one of these Ghostface are people that Sidney has interacted with. Billy being her boyfriend,
right.
Stu being her friend in high school, Mickey being her friend in college. And then, even though we didn't see any scenes with Deborah Salt and Sidney throughout the whole Scream 2, she immediately recognizes that this is Billy's mom. So she has history with all the people that have been the Ghostface. This is literally the only scene she is seen in with Roman in the whole fucking movie.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I remember as when I first saw this, because this came out 2000, so like I was like 11 or something like that. I was like, as a plot point, this is great. Like I liked the idea of the twist of he is her brother and things like that, like long lost half brother and all that kind of stuff. Like I thought that was really cool. But then, to your point, like she's just like still in her face, you can see it. She's like, who the fuck are you?
Who the fuck is you? Who the fuck is you?
She's like, so it's just like, yeah, but like you so wait a minute. So my mom had you, and then she rejected you, and you got her killed, which I kind of understand. But you didn't think to then just come talk to me, and we could have like salad and sandwiches and fries and soda, and we could talk this out? Like, you didn't think you wanted to kill me? Why? Like, what did I it's 50 Cent go, what did you say fuck me for? Like, what did I do to you?
Fuck me for? What did I do? But yeah, there's a lot of conveniences with this character.
Yeah.
Like, the producer of Stab 3 is his biological father, because he raped Maureen, and then he kills him in front of Sidney. And the fact that she never interacted with this character throughout the whole movie is another big point of this. Plus, Roman being fake murdered in the basement, I wrote in my notes. And most of all, the reason why this is a letdown is his whiny ass explanation and monologues at the end. You had the life that I always wanted. I was like, dude, why are you upset? You're a Hollywood director.
We do.
You have a mansion. We're in your mansion. What the fuck is wrong with you? Awful.
It's because okay, like, see, the other part of this also, why this doesn't make sense, is because it's like, okay, so you mean to tell me that 4 years ago you killed the mom for rejecting you. But then you were like, I'm going to wait 4 years. Because remember, it's not just Sidney, who is his sister, who he's trying to kill this time. It's his father. So he's like, I'm going to wait 4 years to kill both of you at the same time. It's like, wait a minute. But like, what if Mickey and Mrs. Loomis had been successful? What were you going to do? Yeah. Like, because the thing is, Mrs. Loomis reacts to the death of Billy. Mickey reacts to Stab 1 needing a sequel. What are you reacting to, Roman? Nothing.
Yeah, it should have been like an explanation. Like, he started all the Reddit pages, the online rooms that Mickey and Mrs. Loomis, met in Scream 2. If he had added that to it, then that's like, okay, he's been actively behind all these Ghostface before him.
Or, which, I mean, I know we have the prevailing ongoing theory about Stu. If he had been the guy in Scream 2 who started the movie projector.
Yeah.
Some kind of connection. Some kind of connection. It makes sense. Because it's like, what was your plan if these people had been successful? Then just one day, like, just imagine like that, like, scenario. That happens. He's just like, well, just grabs his kitchen knife, drives to the office, goes into the dad's office, and just stabs him like while he's in the middle of a meeting. Like, what was your plan gonna be? How? Like, what were you gonna do?
It's like, my big plan didn't work out. I just gotta go kill my dad. Sheesh.
Time for a rewrite.
So Roman shoots Sid, but she smartly, once again, she's smarter than the last couple of movies. She's wearing a bulletproof vest. At this point, I put some backstory to all of this. So Kevin Williamson explained in an interview with E.T. that the original story for the third film was the killers were basically a fan club of Woodsboro kids that had formed because of Stab 1 and 2. They were doing the killings, and the big surprise of the movie was when Sidney walked into the house after Ghostface had killed everyone. They all rose up, and none of them were actually dead, and they planned the whole thing. Okay. And also, Stu was going to be the mastermind. So Matthew Lillard, he said on the interview that he was going to be in Scream 3. He said that he was going to be the mastermind from jail. So basically, because of Stab 1, everybody did their research and they found out that Stu wasn't actually dead, that he was actually in prison, and he was getting a whole bunch of fan mail from the fan club. And he's the one that basically guides them in Roman form of basically guiding them to kill Sidney and the cult. It's a cult of Ghostface. But 3 weeks before shooting, Columbine happened and they rewrote everything. I put in my notes as well. This actually may be the plot for Scream 7, that there is a cult of Ghostface led by Stu.
Yeah, it is interesting, right? Because so that same individual, Kevin Williamson, I think he is returning. He wasn't part of Scream 5 and 6, right? If I'm
No, it was the writing team called Radio Silent.
Right. So it's
Scream 5 and 6.
Which one? If he pulls it off well, kudos to him. But 2, he was again trying to have like 4 ghost faces.
Mm-hmm.
He cannot let this go. Cannot let this go. It's like
I need 4 of them.
It's like both Hunter and Tony Khan being like, okay, I understand that there may be other people who should get this world title right now, but in this handy dandy book that I have, I wrote that it's going to be this person on this date, and by God, it's going to be this person on this date. It's like Tony Khan going, hey guys, remember when we put that banner up there about AEW and we had those 4 guys up there and the world title's going 1, 2, 3? It can't be a different person. It's like, all right, well, listen, all right.
All right, fair. Well, CM Punk's here. Oh, he's gonna be the 5th. Don't worry. So yeah, Sidney uses the phone trick and the voice modulator to sneak up on Roman. She stabs him in the back. She stabs him in the heart, basically killing him. They share a moment where they hold each other's hands. A lot of people were upset about that, but it was mostly of like shared trauma from the mother that left them, and kind of they didn't really know, and that caused this rift between them. Dewey and Gale, they come into the room. They help out Kincaid, who's still alive even after getting beaten over the head by Ghostface. And then Ghostface, of course, Roman, he does a final scare. Dewey, dumbass, is shooting him in the chest, not knowing that he's wearing a bulletproof vest. Sidney has to scream, the head, the head, the head. And then finally he shoots him in the head, and that is the end. But we get a nice little conclusion, because this was really supposed to be the end of the trilogy, the end of the Scream movies, where we go back to Sidney's secluded house, and she's playing with her dog. We see Dewey proposing to Gale as he put the ring in her Woodsboro murders novel, and she accepts. She said yes. Kincaid is there, and they kind of tease that Kincaid's going to be in a relationship with Sidney, and they're all going to watch a movie. And Sidney has finally let go of her PTSD, all of her trauma. The door goes open, and she just leaves it open, not scared anymore. So that is the conclusion of the first Scream trilogy. Any final thoughts before we give our ratings and everything, Ja?
I agree with the concept of letting go of past trauma. However, there's still a reason why we as a society, generally speaking, lock our doors. So if I can understand being like, if they had done something where like the door's getting ready to close or like open, and then she's like, all right, I'm gonna walk away. But then you see like on the wall a fucking shotgun. I mean, like, it makes sense. It makes sense. She's like, hey, if you want to fuck with me, I've got a shotgun and a police officer. It's former police officer too.
Yeah,
like, it's gonna be fine. Like, it's gonna be all right. But like, yeah, I did appreciate the idea that it did feel sort of like a natural conclusion, in the sense that if you're thinking at it from a booking standpoint, you're like going, okay, so they've taken care of the mom side of things. They've sort of taken care of like the dad side of things, where like he's in a good place, she's dead. They covered a long lost sibling. There's really nobody who can kind of come out of the woodwork now, like, right? Like, so she should be a little bit more calm and feel safe on the inside. Wait, oh guys, did you know that she has an aunt that we never knew about?
She has an aunt that lives in Woodsboro? What? Why was the 16-year-old left on her own? Why didn't the aunt come over to babysit?
Listen, some people believe it takes a village to raise a child. Some people believe you're on your own. Like, whatever works.
Even though you're in the same town. Like,
whatever
I'm
works.
just saying.
Whatever works. Listen, when my family was immigrating over, one person decided on a very small town in Florida, South Florida, and then the next one was like, I don't know anybody else in the United States, but I know my cousin is here, so they moved there. And the next one was like, I don't know anybody else in the United States, but I know my uncles live here. And so as a result, like, out of my great grandparents had 15 kids. Out of this entire giant ass family, I would say probably about 40 to 50% of my extended family live in like a 3-mile radius of each other in this small town in Florida. There was never a situation where either of my parents would have been like, we're going to the airport for like 3 days and nobody's coming to check on you.
No one's gonna come check on you. You can do whatever you want, kid.
Nobody's coming.
Oh man, it's too funny. It's too funny. Ridiculousness that this movie is. All right, but rating time. Best characters, I think it's easily the OG trio. No one else.
Yeah, I think there's even an argument that like Sidney may not even be one, because she barely gets screen time in this. Like, however, she does have the best brains, like, because she does the double
Yeah.
gun, she does the bulletproof vest. So, like, I'll keep her in there. But like, I can be like, this is a Gale and Dewey movie more than it's a Sidney movie.
They get more screen time than Cindy in this one, that's for sure. But because of the smartness, because of how essential she is and how she's learned from everything, Sydney is my MVP of the movie.
That's fair. Yes, I would give her MVP. Yeah.
LVP, the entire stab cast.
Yeah. I kind of want to, well, because LVP is more for how you perform in the movie. So, like, what your character does. However, I do want to give it to the movie producer for having a two-way mirror set up in a bedroom in a Hollywood mansion. They wouldn't have been, actually, they probably wouldn't have gotten the reference at the time, but very Epstein of you, but you know.
Yes, very Epstein-y indeed. But yeah, I would have gave it to Roman, but Roman did accomplish a lot as a single a Ghostface, so I'll give him credit for that.
Isn't part of the Stu is alive theory that Stu was supposed to be like also a secondary, like a potential secondary Ghostface, because like Stu was a person talking to Cotton, and Stu was that Ghostface or something like that? Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of theories out there, but that is what we got so far. So for Scream 3, let's put our thumbs in the middle in 3, 2, 1. I'm going thumbs in the middle for this. This is the only I don't think there's any bad Scream movies. I'm probably not gonna give a thumbs down for any of these movies, but this one is very much a thumbs in the middle.
This is the
thumbs in the middle. Yeah, this is probably the closest. I gave it a 6 out of 10. What about you?
So I think I gave Scream 2 an 8?
Yeah.
And again, because I gave the first one like a 9. Yeah, because I was like, it's almost perfect. This one's a 7. I give it. I'll rate it a little bit higher than you, simply because for like, I mean, both of us had experienced this, but I guess like for me, I'm like, this was my intro to the series, so I'm like, all right, I gotta give it. There's probably you know, obviously I'll rank like Sean Connery better than Pierce Brosnan, for example, in James Bond, but like Pierce Brosnan is the second best James Bond to me because he was my James Bond. He was the first one I ever saw. So like, I'll give Scream. I gotta give it like a little bit. You know, I'm like, this is what. I wouldn't have seen Scream 1 and 2 if I hadn't seen Scream 3. So, got to give a little bit of credit. They did something.
That is fair. But yes, that's going to bring us to a close on this Scream 3 review. And of course, we got some more to do. We're halfway through now through our Scream retro reviews here. Thank you so much, StatKing, as usual, for joining me on this ride. Let the people know where they can follow you on social media and when they might see you again.
So you guys can always catch me here on True Heel Heat Sports and Entertainment. We do a whole bunch of different things. For football, we have True Picks and True Offseason, where we talk about the games as they're happening, or in the offseason, we talk about all the different moves and fun things that the teams are doing as they get towards the combines and the drafts and free agency, which is where we are currently. So look forward to all the conversations with myself and Chase when it comes to those things. You can also catch me now. We just did the recap of The Pit Season 1, and now Chase and I will be clocking in for a week-by-week review series of The Pit as we go through all the episodes of Season 2. I do think it's interesting that, you know, they're like no blood for Scream 3 when nowadays, like in The Pit, it's like the amount of blood and stuff that happens, but it's, you know, it's not gory from a murder standpoint. And then also you can catch the brand new series True Headphone Heat. Myself and Sid were breaking down all sorts of things when it comes to music, and we started off with J. Cole's The Fall Off, and we're going to be bringing more and more reviews to you guys for different music genres and different albums as time allows.
Indeed. Had a lot of fun with that. A lot of good feedback in the live chat as well. Thank you guys for watching the premiere of that. And also check out all the reviews that we're doing for Screams, for the Scream series. We had our Scream 1 review that is up right now, Scream 2 review that is up right now. Also, you can find me on this channel on True Heel Heat Check, talking all things NBA basketball. Me and Chris G did our power ranking for the second half of the season on True Hill Heat Check number 24, so check that out as well. Me and StatKing will be back to review the next edition of the Scream series with our Scream 4 review, so be on the lookout for that. That will be up this week as we lead up to Scream 7. But for the StatKing, it is me, your trio phenom SP3. This has been our Scream 3 review. We are signing off until next time.